Welcome back to Anything You Want Me to Be Radio, a product of the Unknown Space Art Ensemble and KWDC 93.5, Stockton.
Hey, welcome back to the Unknown Space Art Ensemble presents Ghost Theater 1 Magicians from the Valley. In part 1, you heard us introduce ourselves and talk about what this is and what this broadcast is and what we've done. To sum it up, we hosted an event on September 22nd that was part theater, part concert, had this really big narrative and involved many of our friends. Unfortunately, you won't be hearing our performance, but you'll be hearing the performance of our friends who helped us tell this awesome story about love, heartbreak, and what comes after.
Previously on the Unknown Space Art Ensemble presents Radio Theater 1, The Magicians from the Valley. Attempting to make their heartbreaks disappear with a magic trick, the Magicians from the Valley, LUDWIG and Skabeepis, have accidentally made their hearts disappear. Being the leaders of the unknown space traveling circus of curious entities, the circus is in a panic over the current state of the magicians. They've shut themselves off from the world and are currently in a psychosis of future, present, and past regrets. After 2 failed attempts to surface the two out of their current state from the circus's very own BIRDIE, ANDROMEDA, and ASTRID Beluga, the group is in desperation. The loss of their owners and leaders could mean the loss of livelihood. How could they possibly save the magicians? Who could possibly save the magicians? Due to an unfortunate loss of a chunk of audio in this upcoming section, I will shortly summarize the beginning, and then the show can go on. After Astrid's futile attempt to resurface the magicians, she stormed out of their tent with tears rolling down her face, not only because the lack of progress pushed her and her friends to the loss of livelihood, but because she had seen this before in a past lover who took his own life under the same conditions. Seeing Astrid in this state shook her best friend, Marjorie, the living puppet. As the magician's biggest hater, Marjorie could only laugh when she saw the magicians in this state. In the changing world of the 2000s, the nation became desensitized, and performance art had no choice but to evolve. This medium began feeding off shock value and suffering.
For this meant that she had to evolve too. Was a very popular ventriloquist in the late 90s and until the 2000s, when she was at a loss for new ideas. However, she met Monsieur Gustavo. Monsieur was a magician with the ability of soul displacement, the power to move one person's soul into an object. He grew fond of, and as her art fell out of the audience's favor, he offered to make her a star again. She and Monsieur got close and began performing together. Their show was popular and a shocking and haunting experience. Their performance consisted of him displacing her soul into her puppet, Marjorie. She would then read poetry before having her soul returned. They were in love. Monsieur Gustavo and Marjorie the living puppet were a hit. Once more in the audience's favor, and Monsieur was more acclaimed than ever. After a tedious tour where she spent more time as Marjorie, she questioned how much of the show was really hers. Was anyone there for her? Or were they just there for Monsieur Gustavo and his oddity Marjorie? She was his puppet. She wanted out, and this upset him. After many arguments, Monsieur displaced her soul into Marjorie the puppet and abandoned her in the desert. She was helpless. One of the only people she trusted betrayed her. This betrayal shaped her view of love and her willingness to give it out. She couldn't look for help. She was too distrustful of people now, but in puppet form, she couldn't even die. She accepted defeat and wandered, cursed to experience the same identity crisis for the rest of her life. Is she, or is she just Marjorie? Is she human or just a puppet? And sadly, she couldn't even remember her own name. She didn't even remember Monsieur Gustavo. She could only remember life as a puppet and her fate at the hands of a magician. ASTRID BELUGA discovered her. She was no stranger to oddities, so she kindly welcomed Marjorie as the friend she never had. ASTRID was on her way to the valley to join the circus. She took Marjorie along. Marjorie held a distaste for the magicians like no other. A magician broke her heart and cursed her for eternity. She showed them no empathy. All she could do was laugh and roll her eyes. Relationships end. Struggles come. Acceptance is tough. Searching is tiresome. Before you know it, a new beginning is in store. So why care that they were having trouble accepting their heartbreak? ASTRID couldn't bear her lash. She reminded Marjorie of when she found her. She was mute, static in her eyes, and a beast was growing from her head. Marjorie was no stranger to the eternal Twilight Zone. They needed her help. ASTRID couldn't bear seeing more people succumb to this fate. Marjorie took a deep breath. She has no strings to hold her down, to make her fret or make her frown. Marjorie, the living puppet.
Chapter 2, Scene 3, Night of the Living Marjorie. Enter Marjorie, the living puppet.
Hi, I'm Marjorie, and I have 5 things to share today, or tonight, sorry. This is called Rot. I started in a cave, scratching the walls, screaming for help, no one to hear it. Light at the end of the tunnel I'm in, or so they say. Never mentioned it being human, never considered it to be. Trapped in the darkness, all I remember are my screams. Then the light comes to replenish. Broken to mended, prisoner to someone free. You ran with me to the end, you showed me the truth. You saved my life, nothing bends. Remarkable what a person like you could do. And that's it for that first one. This is an untitled script, I guess. You scramble my brain. I messed up this time, every time. All you make me feel is the pain of this and all the times before. How do you keep going? Falling apart every day. These meds hate me, sedate me until I'm worn. Reminds me of you. Perfect to the eye, woven with God's best material, but God's worst is God's best. Does this make sense? It doesn't matter anyway. Tired from textbook lies and programming to the max. I can't keep up with this deception, but when they ran, they met with a terrible fate. An agenda for genocide and a plan for destruction. Corrupted minds and corrupted incorporated. We're devastated, hungry, furious. You keep everything mysterious, keep us delirious. Tired of hearing this, give us a break. And that's it for that one. This is called I Never. I never tried to understand myself, to seek depth, to explore that cave, full of sentiments and disastrous things. Never thought I'd find that help, never gave it the chance. And now that I am, I'm even more terrified. Who have I really aspired to become? Stuck questioning my everything. I think I died a little inside. Going at the beat of someone's drum doesn't feel like mine. A soundless, talentless, careless mime. Running against time day after day, wondering, when will I feel satisfied? Where's the fulfillment? I'm running thin. I'm sinking in. Destroying myself like it's a pastime. It's pathetic how willing I am to let it all go. I want purpose again. I want feelings again. I want to feel happy to be here, to be seen, to be heard and felt, and all of the above. Until I tell you to leave me alone, high and dry, in this house of dirt, shit, and flies that is my mind. I'm tired of feeling unkind and tired of being imprisoned. Let me go. Please just let me be free. And that's it for that. This is a short one. It's also untitled. Sticking tongue, never felt so numb, feels dumb to mention. Never wanted any attention, just wanted affection, and desperation leads to expectation, ending in disaster. Plaster to the walls, stuck with myself, sinking through it like a cloud. I was never allowed to feel this. I'm frightened by the idea of things that feed my anxiety. Maybe that's the reality check I really need. And that's it for that. This is my last one. It's untitled. I'd make a solemn mistake if I were to say you cared to explain your meticulous ways. Wow, I love that. And your devilish words. Well, now it's my turn. This cipher, this life, or whatever this even is, this body you live in, it's all for a bigger picture. Not even the world can see. At least not clearly. I fear nobody really hears me. I feel like I disappear into the thin air you breathe, like a vampire on film, except you don't want me in this picture. You want that picture framed for fortune. How could you possibly add such smudged and contorted futures to what you see as your future? I am not plastic shaped for falsified purpose. You can handle me with care as one would, but you can't handle feeling nervous either. What a shame. And that's it. Thank you.
Chapter 2, Scene 4. Just a dream I had. Enter the narrator.
Marjorie was angry. They entrusted another human to bear the burden of their heavy hearts, a flaw so fatal it cursed her for eternity. The entire spectrum of her rage was expressed as poetry. If it weren't for a flaw so fatal, I would still be Mina Harker, exclaimed Marjorie. In a passionate rage, she remembered the truth about her humanity. The only claim to humanity she could have other than a consciousness. For the first time, Marjorie the living puppet remembered her name. Mina Harker. Past the halls of memories, across the ocean of regret, and deep within the pits of the eternal twilight zone, LUDWIG and Skabeepis could hear Marjorie. She couldn't possibly sound more human, yet even with her realized humanity, she could conceptualize love, separate from it, and live a worthwhile life. Thinking there was nothing more to life after love, they realized they'd give anything to be scolded by Marjorie one more time. The two felt as if somebody was following them, but it suddenly felt like it disappeared. Whatever cloud was hovering above them dispersed, at least for now. The static in their eyes turned to pupils, the heads growing out of theirs withered away. LUDWIG and Skabeepis slowly woke. Opening their eyes to the real world, they first saw ASTRID and Marjorie walking out of their tent, looked back at the magicians with an anger that could only show on their faces. Their dear friend BIRDIE was relieved to see them awake, but even she walked in disappointment. Seeing one another across their tents, they waved. They walk out into the sunlight. A warm light kissed their skin, and the breeze caressed their faces with care they haven't felt in a long time. The magicians knew they had done something wrong, and it would take years to make up, but for now, they were just happy to be alive. Before leaving their tent, they looked back at the chair collecting laundry, the 30 cans of expired pineapples, and the unchanged calendars. They were all just relics now. Why was there a chair collecting laundry, 30 cans of expired pineapples, and unchanged calendars? Didn't matter anymore. They smiled before walking away.
We'll be back after the short PSA break. We'll be back with more Ghost Theater, the Magicians from the Valley.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're listening to KWDC 93.5. I haven't done this in a very long time, so I'm making this on the spot. Keep listening and supporting college radio.
Chapter 2, Scene 5. Yes. The Conjurer. Enter Ludwig 1 Sigma and Skabeepis.
It felt like I had just woke up from a very brutal nap. It felt like the nap where you don't get enough sleep and you just wake up disoriented.
I was in between on what to do first. Anything and everything sounded good. It was as if brand new world was at my doorstep. The world is my oyster, whatever that means. But I think I know what it's trying to say.
Yet with all this energy, hope, and spirit, I still felt empty inside.
But that's when I remember I still need my heart back. But I also remember throwing it away. I'm not sure where in the world it could be by now.
What vultures may have eaten it, what lovers may have taken it, is it on land or out at sea? Only if, for one last time, may I just see my broken heart.
What snakes may have poisoned it? What insects may have spoiled it? Was it ever real? Or was it just fantasy? If only if, for one last time, may I just see my broken heart.
AMOR FATI, the Conjurer. Of course! When we first bought the circus, he was one of the few to welcome us in. Well, kind of.
It wasn't clear if he liked us. We could be confusing his kindness with just a high tolerance of us. The only time we've interacted with him was one time when we were drunk together.
And I thought we bonded just fine. I mean, AMOR started spilling secrets to us. They were their secrets about his past and behind his powers. AMOR FATI had the incredible ability to conjure up things people have lost through just a replica.
So that's when we had a genius idea.
Chapter 2, Scene 6. Tavish and the End of Time. Enter the man behind the curtain.
For J.M. Belmont and Tavish the Baboon Boy, time moved on. The authority found J.M. with his throat slit, and Tavish ran away to die in a forest. Thus, the tragedy of Tavish had continued. In his death, they realized he was more human than all. Scientists dissected him and found a human heart and brain. His heart was abnormally larger than others, and after dissection, they realized it was full of love. Tavish had above-average space in his heart to carry love. Using secret government technology, scientists scanned his brain and saw memories. They saw he had a childhood set in a broken home, but a home built on love nonetheless. Mother was never the best example, but he adored her despite her flaws. Somewhere in some other time, he was too a lover. They saw a young man take his love to the circus. He played games with her. He felt her clutch him tight when he showed her the freak show. He got to feel the joy of anticipating their first kiss. And it seemed from the color of his brain that he was no stranger to the eternal twilight zone. Tavish bore the burden of false hopes of triumph over pain. In an attempt to fix his broken heart, more misfortune came his way in the form of J.M. Belmont. The tragedy of Tavish is a tale as old as time, the misfortune spectacle of a soul separated greedily from nature. The unknown space traveling circus of curious entities has kept the head and heart of Tavish preserved for years. They kept it to recognize the controversial history surrounding the circus and its unethical practices. They kept the head and heart along with the hat of J.M. Belmont. They often set flowers next to Tavish to keep him surrounded by the nature he missed. In death, they promised to treat him well, for in life, they failed him. The tradition was common. The circus did this in hopes of sparing themselves from evil circus curses and spirits that sought revenge. That was all too common. Such was the case with AMOR FATI.
Chapter 2, Scene 7. Guamo y Gonzo. Enter the narrator.
Following Astrid's curse, Ezekiel Beluga exiled Tia Fati, Astrid's mother. At this time, she was pregnant with their next child. This child was to be Astrid's equal. The unborn AMOR FATI was too exiled. Tia sought refuge, and the road led her to a circus. She was a sorcerer, and her abilities were undeniable. The unknown space traveling circus of curious entities welcomed Tia Fati, the sorcerer. However, disowned by Ezekiel, she lost her mind and went down a rabbit hole of spiritualism and the occult. The faith she devoted to herself abandoned her. In shame, she was willing to try anything to reach God. She began talking to evil circus spirits. Year 1. On a tour in Louisiana, J.M. Belmont stole a baby alligator from his natural habitat, Guamo, the singing alligator. Guamo was trained from a young age to be a singer. He lost his nature in exchange for an unnatural and unwanted life. Upset with this, he lashed out and tore a guest's arm off. J.M. Belmont euthanized him. The circus keeps him taxidermied and well-kept to spare them of his spirit. Year 5. J.M. Belmont welcomes the first alley of clowns, the Hula Baloo Harlequin household, a corrupt family of clowns with ties to the mafia. Gonzo Alighieri was a gifted child born into this family with no choice but to be a clown. He could conjure up things people have lost, though just a replica. His family exploited this ability. He became the face of the circus, a pressure too heavy for a child. Gonzo lost his nature in exchange for an unnatural and unwanted life. The burden became too heavy, and he took his own life. Out of respect, the circus uses his face for its branding. In her desperation, the two vengeful spirits deceived Tia. She accidentally summoned them. Guamo, the singing alligator, possessed Tia Fati. Gonzo, the wish collector, possessed AMOR FATI, her unborn child. Guamo took his anger out on Tia Fati. He tortured her for several nights. She died a slow and painful death. The circus was surprised to hear AMOR still had a heartbeat. Gonzo was keeping him alive. Gonzo never wanted revenge. All he wanted was a childhood, to experience it. Through AMOR, they became brothers inhabiting the same vessel. Through Gonzo, AMOR could conjure up lost items through replicas. Many sought him out when they had lost something near and dear. He was a tool for the desperate. With a double consciousness, AMOR was wise, and many sought him out for his wisdom. Thus, two desperate men, seeking his abilities, arrived at his doorstep that evening. They were carrying the heart of Tavish the baboon boy, a heart so pure in its humanity. Still existing within an empty feeling inside, Ludwig and Skabeepis wanted to see their hearts again. AMOR was their last resort. They visited him intending to have their hearts restored. With their collective knowledge and wisdom, AMOR and Gonzo shook their heads and laughed. Prepare to open up old boxes from the past and say hello to your new future. Please welcome AMOR FATI, the Conjurer.
Chapter 2, Scene 8. Where does my broken heart end? Enter AMOR FATI, the Conjurer.
My friends, do come to me with any quarrels that have arisen from your seeking. After all, it is in one's own nature to live a life befitting to what intrigues the eyes and mind, yet ever so do we find ourselves deprived of that which gives meaning to our life. And even greater still is the thought that danger lies on a path we try to forge. This poem is called Forgive the Soul. I must confess these past transgress, these aching thoughts that time had bought. What wasn't said, the tears we shed, what I held back and still I lacked, bringing torment, wasted moments. I spent hating, ruminating, my sight fading, aggravating, I'm left waiting, not fixating. The time I lost, my longing wants, those parting arms that brought me harm. A hopeful past that never lasts, and here I'm left, never to rest. It's not in vain, although a pain, upon this life I fought with strife, with bloodied fist twisting my wrist, through nightly wraths, through lonely paths, through lights obscured how I've endured. But I grow weak as days grow bleak, as skin turns cold, as I lose hold of my own will, I fade, yet still. Not all is lost, grief lies in thought, hope lifts the heart. With a new start, without demand, with hand in hand, I plead to thee, set this soul free. But I must warn you, those who tamper with the heart, tongues betray emotions, eyes neglect sorrow's woes. Dejecting salvation from a helping hand, will find the greatest perils awaiteth at every stage of their attempt in finding that which one so easily sacrifices. For those without heart are more befitting to a life without sense, and thus death, the only answer upon your journey's end. This poem is called Lady of Sadness. Lady of sorrow, for she cries the night until sleep becomes of her. Deprived of hope, she comes to morning melted to the floor. Lingers through day in her room, where her well-being is but an afterthought. And when one reaches out, she vanishes from sight, nearing the afterlife. At the ends of her lips has she stored all the sorrows that's afflicted her. Wears her heart on her sleeve, for the knife bleeds, leaving scars behind. Tattered knees she endures as she limps through unknown streets. Yet in her soul, a pain so great, she becomes vulnerable to the world around. When she grieves, she brings forth rain, where her cries are heard, and every puddle soaked in clothes, she dries her thought going about. At every waterfall she hides behind, waiting for someone to reach in. And all the tears of the world she collects, letting them go into the ocean. She looks to the moon in all its phases to understand herself, keeps her emotions suppressed as a sea, or as she slowly submerges in water. Upon her collapse, valleys are flooded, the sea returning to serenity. A push and pull of ocean's tide through night and day, her peace at bay. With the strength of Poseidon, she lifts the earth as to keep grounded. With such faith as Moses, she wipes her tears aside, letting hope through. Yet, like Ophelia, in her passive impassiveness, drowns in her soliloquy, and it would be, when one reflects, an image of the self would be portrayed. In times of grief, when tears fall down, she lingers on my lip. On rainy days when loneliness has reigned, she's there tapping on my window. Through dark moments, when days seem despairing, she turns the world gray. Yet when the clouds clear, she disappears, any memory of her dried on my cheeks. Thank you. You, my friends, who have been by my side through wits on end, have been comrades in times that feared I lost my head, making decree of your sworn oaths to me. There is no time or place where your plead will have me turn the other way, though I am afraid. When it comes to matters of a missing heart, it is not within my ordain to mess with the soul, as a promise I took upon God. Still, I will not stand by idly as I watch what wretchedness becomes of your story, and to say so lightly that you have come to me slightly scathed would be a grave mistake of mine. So please, give to me thine trust, and I will answer thee in ways I see fit. This one is called Ireland. The land she's fairer and far and wide, of green and blues and burning brights, of rain and shine and cloudy skies, and cheer she brings when we meet eyes. Her hills upon from which I lay, her grass so fresh I would there sleep, her cattle graze and rest all day, the mountain steeps and hides in sheep. In rain at times she's but a drop, and then she pours, kissing my cheeks, and kiss she does, never dare stop. She floods the roads and runs towards creeks. Her trees of green are full of life. At every turn her forest dwells. She welcomes all and wishes well, and to my thought she's all the wise. Her airs of mist, they take my sight. I grab her hand and make her mine. The lowest point, the tallest height, and through it all her beauty shines. A lasting thought when I depart. The words she leaves, a work of art. These memories I will hold dear, and in my heart, I'll leave her here. Thank you. Pay attention to the world around. The many words arise from our passions. Our heartaches becometh from love enthralled. Our many sufferings that leave us fallen. How arduous life becomes in our most weakest moments. Yet, it never fails to amaze me. The human will, brazen in the sun, tender to the moon, fearful of their own ending, daring to the world's calling. Understand, those who've shared their thoughts today have gone through their great ordeal, opening the threshold in which one never returns, and when one does, a new perspective awaits them, that they may comprehend and appreciate life just a bit more. This last poem is titled Lost. What are words but confessions of the soul? Persistent thoughts we grasp onto, expressing them in pages. Something sacred to the writer's eye, yet others revel in revelations. Of quotes we reprise to the end like oaths by which we swear. What is art but an illustration of the mind and body? A canvas we wake up to every day, where our emotions are conveyed. Of colorful shades we paint the world as we go about our day. Life will get messy, but as we look back, we'll see our life's depiction in such beauty. What is a dance but of steps, twists and twirls, or twists and turns made throughout life? Of rhythms we follow through as we move our body in accord. The melody of time played all through humankind as we groove along. Some alone, others with the group, but will always fall in open arms. What of hopes and dreams radiating through the earth without falter? Of wishes made in silence, as one walks aimlessly under starry nights. Aspirations sparked from our imagination, becoming our destination. Through our ambitions we'll shine as bright as stars to those around. What of struggles we tend to push away when it was in our mind all day? Inconveniences we come across, we've to overcome to move on forward. Times are falling through the ground with no end in sight. Upon the threshold, we'll look back at our endeavors, gaining insight. My friend, if ever you find yourself astray without a trace, look to the future, past, and those around, where you'll see the rhythms of the world. Look towards the heavens, there you'll grasp a shooting star amongst bright lights. Look at life in all its glories, and here you will understand the fruit of your labor. Before you make your departure, I must heed my final words. Be careful not to be stuck on the past or stress on the future, for those who ignore the present miss out on life's greatest gift. Love your fate, magicians, for it is the only fate you'll get. Thank you.
We'll be back after the short PSA break. We'll be back with more Ghost Theater, the Magicians from the Valley.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KWDC 93.5, the birthplace of the Unknown Space Art Ensemble.
Chapter 2, Scene 9. Love is all around us. Enter the narrator.
AMOR FATI could only laugh at the magicians. They were confused. Was he laughing at them or with them? Then again, they weren't laughing. The magicians were confident that AMOR thought they were idiots. As they walked away, AMOR conjured their hearts. What they saw confused them even more. They didn't quite see their hearts. From a young age, Skabeepis struggled with humanity. As he moved through time, he discovered that people aren't permanent. He saw many leave. No one was ever a constant. If love was to arrive in his life, he vowed to take it and hold on tight. But sometimes, the will to separate is stronger than the will to hold on. Every relationship he built seemed doomed to crumble. The less humans surrounded him, the less human he felt. He began to see monsters. Everywhere he went, he only saw monsters. Moving through life in fear, he eventually realized he could make them smile through magic. Skabeepis found love in passion. These monsters with their big, toothy smiles, though scary and unpredictable, deserved the world. He wanted nothing more than to earn their smile, and if that meant nothing in return, he was okay with that. And then there was Ludwig von Sigma, who from a young age didn't understand his humanity. He was born surrounded by love, so he didn't understand its importance. But then he saw love ripped away from him, from the people around him. He saw death and how it had the power to delay the human heart. He knew he needed to love hard if he was ever to love, or else he would live in regret when it gets taken away. but he still didn't understand it at all. He powerlessly watched the relationships around him wither away. The art of disappearing was an act he was all too familiar with. He realized not a single word needed to be said. Ludwig started showing people his magic. They understood that was his love. AMOR showed them this very magic, a love they've held ever since they knew what they wanted in life. In this magic, the magicians saw BIRDIE Andromeda, the wild rat tamer, whose love was so big it included creatures as lowly as rats and magicians. In this magic, the magicians saw ASTRID BELUGA, the bearded lady, who has lost more love in life than she'd like to think, but loves nonetheless. In this magic, the magician saw Mina Harker, the living puppet whose humanity shined through her porcelain skin, even in love's absence. In this magic, the magician saw AMOR FATI, the Conjurer, who taught the magicians to love their fate. These people showed them love is all around, and even though one door is closed, many are still wide open. Love may be gone, but it isn't dead. But where do we start? Where does your heart start, and where does it end?
Remember this, a kiss is still a kiss, a sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by. And love songs are never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy, and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs are never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy, and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have its mate that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by.
We'll be back after the short PSA break. We'll be back with more Ghost Theater, the Magicians from the Valley.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
Please be done.
Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KWDC 93.5, the birthplace of the Unknown Space Art Ensemble.
One last bit. You ready? Give me a beat, brother. This has been the Unknown Space Art Ensemble presents Ghost Theater 1, The Magicians from the Valley. A performance piece by the Unknown Space Art Ensemble and Friends, directed by Thomas Arganda, written to whatever. Produced by the Hatch Workshop. Cinematography, where are you guys at? Christian Ortiz and Leia Chavez. Slate by Jakob Dominguez, brother. Whoa, it's him! And she's been back there with him the entire time, but let's just say, shout out to Nicole Rodriguez. Live sound mixing by Seth Earl Jacks. Take a stand and bow. Come on, bro. This is the f***ing guy, bro. All right, yo. I don't know your name yet. What is it? Andrew? Lighting by motherfucking Andrew, the lighting guy. Photography by Bree Raymond and Grandpa Salon. Drums by Alexzandre Salon. Visual arts by Seth Earl and Thomas Arganda. We got a lot of bone critters up here. There's a little monkey right there. I thought it was pretty cool. So thank you to Chandra Ortega, Mama Space, for props. And thank you to the Argandas and the Salon for letting us be as loud as possible in their houses. And thanks to our vendors, Suzanne, Isaac, Gerline, Alicia, Rhea, and of course, starring Valentine as the man behind the curtain. Joe Gonzalez as the narrator. I can't really see, but I'm sure they're out there. Ophelia Jane as Birdie Andromeda, the wild rat tamer. Eliza Eberhardt as ASTRID Beluga, the bearded lady. I think she said she was gonna take off early, so she might not be here, but Amberley Y as Marjorie the living puppet. Eduardo Claudio as Amor, FATI the Conjurer.
Thomas Arganda as Ludwig von Sigma. Alexzandre Salon as the splendiferous Skabeepis. Big thank you. Panic Attack for the costume contest and also Eliza. Big f***ing thank you. Elazar, Abraham, the man, and the entire Hatch Workshop. This has been it. You want a whiplash ending? Okay, whiplash ending. It starts at the top and...
It starts at the top, goes down, and then goes back.
Okay.
And then dun, dun, dun.
It felt spontaneous. I know you didn't want to do this, but...
Yeah, that's fine.
Have y'all seen the movie Whiplash?
I'm going to start... That's the furthest I can see, so...
It's touching the ground.
Alright. I hope you're coming back up.
Well, that's the end. Bye. Unless anybody knows it. Whoa. Aww. Wow. Go home. You could now. Not that you couldn't before. Bye. Love y'all. Thank you.
We want to give a big shout out to not just our friends who helped us put on this production, but Elazar Abraham with the Hatch Workshop, and Jackie, whose last name we can't currently remember, for letting us do this, because this was the greatest opportunity and probably the best thing we've ever done with Unknown Space Art Ensemble. So, if you ever get the chance to go check out a show or an open mic or in some way support the Hatch Workshop and Elazar Abraham, do it, because that dude does a lot of stuff for free and provides an awesome, platform for artists and local musicians and poets in Stockton. And honestly, I think we've heard other people from out of Stockton come visit the Hatch Workshop for things. So, when's the next show, man?
When's the next show?
The people need to know.
No, it's very early, pre-production. I mean, bullet point stage. But if there is a next show, I would say December. Looking forward to December. Hopefully everything comes into place before then. But yeah, hopefully we hope to do this again, and maybe next year there'll be another broadcast just like this one. Furthermore, again, we are the Unknown Space Art Ensemble. I am Thomas, and I'm joined here as always with Alex. And where to find us? You can find us on YouTube, Unknown Space, all caps, with a period at the end. And I think you can do @ on YouTube now, apparently. And it's just @Unknown Space, UNKNWNSPCE. So Unknown Space without the O and the A. And you can find us on Instagram with that same handle, Unknown Space, without the O and the A.
Anything You Want Me to Be Radio, Volume 2, has been a production of KWDC 93.5 LPFM, Delta College Radio. This program is made possible by listeners like you. Programming is produced by the students, staff, and faculty of San Joaquin Delta College's Radio Television Department. It is supported by the Delta College Department of Arts, Humanities, and Multimedia, the Career Technical Education and Workforce Department Office, and the State of California. Thank you for listening.